Hey guys, and welcome to the video on magic crystals. In this video, I'm going to be going over endgame magic crystals in Black Desert and why certain crystals are used over others, as well as their uses in PvP. In PvE, pretty much any crystal will do, so I'm not going to be focused on PvE crystals, mainly PvP crystals. So in Black Desert, the best magic crystals currently available are JIN, Bon, and Wand crystals. However, these crystals are very expensive and somewhat difficult to make. In order to make them, you will need black magic crystals, as well as Forest Fury. And you can get both off the marketplace. So if you go to the marketplace, and you can buy the black magic crystal and Forest Fury. Forest Fury are about 2 million each if you purchase them from the special deals where there are literally hundreds. And black magic crystal, you heat them up and you'll turn them into magical shards. Now, my marketplace maid will be up in a minute to purchase another black magic crystal to show you, but before then, I will go over the magic crystals themselves. So, for your weapon black magic crystal, there's really two different options you can choose. The cheaper option is a black magic crystal precision. This will give you 8 accuracy and ignore all resistance plus 10%. Now, these are two of the best PvP stats because both of them will allow you to hit your target more often. Accuracy will let you land more damage, and the all resistance ignoring will allow you to land grapples, knockdowns, knockbacks, and any other form of crowd control on players that are running a decent amount of crowd control resistance, which is a common crystal build used these days in PvP. The other option is JIN Magic Crystal, Addis, or Carmae, depending on if you're using attack speed or casting speed. Both of these will give you critical hit and one of either cast or attack speed plus 1, as well as all AP plus 5, which generally makes them better than Red Battlefield Crystal Power, as extra damage against humans plus 2 isn't generally considered as good as the plus 1 critical hit. For your sub-weapon, there's two options. The cheapest option is critical. Magic Crystal of Infinity Critical will make your critical hits do extra damage by 10%, which increases your damage fairly significantly. Alternatively, Awakened Spirit Crystal gives you all AP plus 5, as well as 150 extra max HP. This is sort of the other option, which gives you a bit more survivability at the cost of a bit of damage in critical hits, but a bit more damage in any attack that does not result in a critical hit. The helmet has probably the most options. The best option for the helmet is the JIN Magic Crystal Harphia. It gives you 50 HP, 5 HP recovery, and all evasion plus 20. However, if you don't want to run evasion, you're running a DR build, or if you want to run a resistance build, then you have the option of running agility or intimidation crystals, which will give all evasion plus 8 and knockdown battle resistance plus 5% for agility. This is more for evasion build though, and the better of the two is probably the intimidation one, which gives you knockdown or bound resistance plus 10% and stun, stiffness, freezing resistance plus 5%. So there's quite a few different options for the helmet, 3 different options, and it's probably one of the most various options. For armor crystals, it's fairly simple. You usually want to run a JIN Cobelinus crystal. JIN Cobelinus crystal gives max HP plus 100, weight limit plus 20, as well as all damage reduction plus 5. Seeing as how damage reduction is one of the most valuable stats in the game, getting all reduction plus 5 is pretty powerful. The other option is, if you want a resistance build, you can run a black magic crystal, Vigor, or Armor. Vigor gives you free stun, stiffness, and freezing resistance plus 10%, as does Armor. But the difference is Vigor gives you plus 50 max HP, whereas Armor gives you plus 2 to damage reduction. Personally, I generally go with Armor, but Vigor is also an option if you're running an evasion build. For your gloves are pretty simple. There's only really one option. You want to go with JIN Magic Crystal Vipers. These give you attack speed plus 1, cast speed plus 1, and all accuracy plus 20, which means if you are running Black Magic Crystal's Precision, this will combine with Azarka to give you 5 attack or cast speed depending on your class. It also gives you a ton of accuracy. All accuracy plus 20 is a lot, and is generally considered one of the best crystals in the game. Some people, however, do swear by the alternative. If you are running the Black Magic Crystal Precision, you are not going to be maxed out on critical hit, even if you're using elixirs and food buffs. In that case, you can run with the Magic Crystal Infinity Valor. And the Black Magic Crystal Valor is probably the better of the two, which also gives grapple resistance plus 5%, which will give you plus 2 to critical hit in place of one of your JIN crystals. This way you get plus 2 critical, which you can combo with food buffs. For example, a Exquisite Cron Meal will give you plus 2 critical hit, and this will allow you to reach pretty much the maximum critical hit available, as long as you're using an elixir at the same time. Finally, we have the shoes, and shoes they're usually pretty simple. Most people will just want to run a pair of Wand Magic Crystal Hystria, which will give you movement speed plus 2, max stamina plus 150, and weight limit plus 20. Getting 2 of them gives you plus 4 move speed, which is only 1 away from the cap. And it's generally considered the best in the slot. However, if you would like to go for a CC resist build, a single red battlefield crystal Adamantine will almost max you out for knockdown and bound resistance. It gives you plus 25%, and the base is 30%, which means you get to 55%. Considering that in PvP, you cannot get above 60% of resistances, this puts you to just 5% under the max with a single crystal. So getting a single red battlefield crystal Adamantine with a Wand Hystria is probably the best way to get these crystals. Now versatile, we'll just ignore those because versatiles generally aren't very good. A few people in my last video did talk about how the luck crystal can be useful, but considering that with a fairy as well as the Termian Coral Crown, you can max it on luck pretty easily, I don't consider Magic Crystals of Perfection really all that useful. So those are pretty much in essence the best magical crystals. But to make a magical crystal, what you want to do is you go to your magic crystals to make a JIN, Bond, or Wand. To make ancient, you can't really make ancients, you've got to just kind of farm them. They drop in various locations, pretty easy to farm. And they all go up pretty often. Red battlefield, you get as a reward from the red battlefield. But to make JIN, Bond, and Wand crystals, you're going to have to rely on RNG. So, search Black Magic Crystal. You can see the cheapest here is 3.5 million. So I'll buy it on my marketplace made. Sturdiness. Then what you have to do is you've got to heat a Black Magic Crystal. And this generally takes 10 seconds if you don't fail. If processing does not go as planned, it could take a bit longer. And that will give you a magical shard. Once you have 10 magical shards, as well as 1 Forest Fury, you then need to grab yourself a Black Magic Crystal of the associated type that you want your JIN, Wand, or Bond crystal to be. So if you want to get yourself a JIN Viper, then you're going to need a Black Magic Crystal Viper. I've gone for a Harphia here, as Harphias are much more available than Vipers, and I'm going to get a JIN, Bond, or Wand Harphia. Now, unfortunately, there's no way to control which one you'll get. All you can really do is go into Simple Alchemy, throw in your 10 magical shards, your Forest Fury, and your Black Magic Crystal, and start praying. So we just wait for a while, and we got a JIN Harphia. Very nice. So that is how you create JIN, Wand, and Bond Magic Crystals in Black Desert. Anyways, guys, this was the Magic Crystal Guide for Endgame in Black Desert. I hope this video is helpful to you. As always, subscribe if you liked it, and have a good one.